Welcome back to all our viewers and listeners on Ymedia platform. Thanks for watching us. And continuing our Ymedia foreign policy segment, we now touch upon Putin and Modi summit. Any updates, Yudhvirji?
Yeah, as far as this Ymedia foreign policy report is concerned, the India-Russia summit has been part of the discussion on almost all media platforms across the globe, whether it's the international media that we're reading or watching or listening to, or of course the Russian media and the Indian media. They have covered a lot about this summit. This was a bilateral summit. Putin doesn't go out of country quite often, and during this summit, if the key takeaways are, I mean, right from the start, Prime Minister Modi, he broke the protocol, welcoming President Putin there at the airport itself. And that gave a clear signal that India is defying US pressure, because US and the West, they definitely want India to move away from Russia. There were articles published in Indian newspapers by the diplomats from the European nations, including France, Germany, Italy. They published articles in Indian newspapers right before the arrival of Putin. So questioning Vladimir Putin and actually questioning India too. Why are you carrying on your relationships with Russia? And I've heard here in the Western media many questioning Vladimir Putin's intention. He just mentioned he's ready to have, if Europe wants a war, Vladimir Putin says he's ready to have a war with them. So now on one side, there are sanctions against Russia, their leader, and of course, their business companies as well. But on the other side, Vladimir Putin, he enjoys good support from China, and what we've seen in India as well. He enjoys good support from India as well. And the personal chemistry, which we've seen earlier as well between Putin and Modi, that was again on full display during this bilateral summit. There were agreements signed from defense to space to technological exchange. India would set up, the export right now, the bilateral trade, if I may say this, that yes, is $69 billion, heavily skewed in favor of Russia, mainly because of the oil imports that India does from Russia. Despite, there has been a little bit less of an oil import this year as compared to 2023 and 2024. 2023 and especially 2024 was at its peak, but still we are importing a lot more oil than we did in 2020, 21, 22. Russia is now our top oil supplier or our energy supplier, Russia at this moment. But I think India and Russia, yes, of course, the reception there at the Rashtrapati Bhavan, that we're seeing the visuals on our TV screen, the welcome at the airport and all this, these make great optics. And I think both the leaders, both the countries, Moscow and New Delhi, they're both doing it on purpose as well. They realize the importance of all these optics, the exchange of memorandum of understanding that you're seeing here, all this. Because they know that the entire West is watching, especially the US is also watching, and both India and Russia, they're clearly saying this. Yes, the power, the influence that US had sometime, Russia is clearly saying this, that you know what, you could be the single superpower status, enjoying the single superpower status right now. But Russia and India, they're clearly saying this, that we have our own way of doing things, and especially India for that matter, because Russia, I know it's a defiant Russia. Putin does things in his own way, and he's even openly challenging, if you want a war, we're ready for that war. And actually the Ukraine war, Russia thinks they have gained the momentum, though Ukraine has a different opinion. And there was a question before the summit, with India, will Modi pressurize Putin into accepting a peace plan? So Indian Prime Minister Modi, he did mention that yes, we would want to see peace, the war, they would want the war to stop. This is no era for war. They have said this earlier as well. But they're not pressurizing Russia that yes, please do go, And Russia also, in India has a history with Russia. Russia has supported India, whether it was the 62 war with China, the 71 war between India versus Pakistan. So, or when India got sanctioned because of the nuclear test that India did in '98. So, Russia has always been very supportive, and today as well. I mean, not only the energy needs that India has is being fulfilled by Russia at a very reasonable price for them, but other than that, India major arms import is still Russia is the main supplier. And we saw that in India-Pakistan conflict as well, whether it's S-400 now, whether it could be the S-500s, whether it's Sukhoi 57, more deals, you know, on the table. So India will keep on, you know, 2/3 of the Indian energy needs are being fulfilled from Russia, and almost 34% of the arms, you know, import, that's still from Russia. Of course, India is looking at other partners, including US for its energy needs and arms import, including France, US, and energy import is done through Iraq, UAE, Saudi Arabia. But at the end of the day, Russia and India, they've clearly shown the message is loud and clear that yes, we will not, you know, bow down to the pressure by US or the West. Clear.
Ymedia Group, the fastest growing media group in North America.